Hello guys, NautoAis here, and this will be a follow-up on my thoughts of the Nintendo Direct that happened on September 12th, 2025. Like I said, that Direct was something. Now I can see why it's a 1 hour special, but that's on that video. So anyway, the follow-up is I want to talk more about the Virtual Boy. So if you saw the Direct, they announced that on February 2026, they will have a Virtual Boy Nintendo Classic. The Nintendo Classic app. Yes, so they changed the subtitle. It used to be called the Nintendo Switch Online NES app, whatever. They just called it now Nintendo Classic. Makes sense, whatever, doesn't really matter. With that said, I'm just surprised that Nintendo in 2025 and beyond, they're finally acknowledging the Virtual Boy. So if you don't know what the story behind it, I think in the past I did talk about it. I even did like a sort of a Photoshop montage showcase on my main channel, because to some extent I really couldn't do any Virtual Boy video, if you know what I mean, but that's a different story there. The Virtual Boy in 1995, when it was released, it was bad. People didn't like it. It was red. People were getting headaches. And there was even report that people's eyes were turning bad because it was just red, so whatever. To a point that it was so bad, Nintendo, after the launch of the Virtual Boy, they stopped acknowledging it. And a legendary inventor, one of the greatest inventor, I say Nintendo, the guy that created the Game Boy, the father of all portable machine, if it wasn't for him, there wouldn't be a portable system. There wouldn't be probably a Switch. Heck, 3DS, DS, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, etc., etc., etc. You know what I mean. And that's Gunpei Yokoi. For people who don't know what happened, after the Virtual Boy's release in the poor sale, he got a window seat to a point that he left and he created the Wonder Swan. And of course, if you heard the story, he passed away due to a accident. He was helping someone and another car accidentally hit him. That was the story. It is unfortunate, but that's the history about it. The father of Game Boy was very impactful in Nintendo, that even if it's a legend, hey, you screw up, guess what? You get a window seat. So that's how bad the Virtual Boy is, to a point that Nintendo would never acknowledge the console any shape or form unless they're poking fun of themselves. Yes, it was in Tomodachi Life on the 3DS, if I remembered. They poke fun of that system, but it is what it is there. So it is kind of interesting that as of 2025, or heck, 2026, they're going to finally acknowledge the Virtual Boy and you get to play it. And of course, the downside is you have to have the peripheral in order to play it. I don't know why. Why can't you just play it by itself? So they give you two options. You get the real, like a simulated Virtual Boy holder, I guess that's what it is. You don't even get a controller. You get the goggles, and you can't even strap it in. You have to do it the old-fashioned way. Like, come on, Nintendo. Like, you got a lot of this years, and you still want to emulate that piss-poor system? Oh, my goodness. And it's going to cost you $100. Doesn't have a strap or a Virtual Boy controller. What the heck, dude? Don't tell me if they do that, oh, well, it's going to be $50 more. Like, oh, my goodness. Greed, maybe. Tariff, maybe. Furukawa, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, so for the goggle itself that you can't even strap it in, it's $100, but there's a cheaper option to some extent. And yes, a $25 cardboard. And if you really look at it, it sort of looks like Labo VR. However, my assumption is that you can also use it with the Switch too. I mean, if you see how Labo VR works, you don't really strap it in. Again, I don't know why. You have to hold it. My assumption probably is that safety reason, because yeah, sometimes you can hurt yourself with the VR. I play with the VR, PlayStation 2 VR, if you know what I mean. That's why probably, but I think it's just stupid. If you have Labo VR, that might work in my opinion, because I know the game itself for Labo VR actually had a video of the Virtual Boy. So maybe that was foreshadowing. If that works, hey, okay, I'll just use my old Switch. I still have it. It still works. Put it on and play some Virtual Boy in that one. I don't need my 4K on my portable mode Switch 2. I don't want to play 4K Virtual Boy or whatever resolution. I know I'm combobbling right now with my words because it's so weird. Because I thought it was a off-season April's Fool joke. You know, like the red guy said. But no, this is a real thing that... Who asked for it? Well, maybe there are some, but $100 peripheral in order to play. You can't even play it without it. That's kind of weird. Or heck, at least have an option to make it white. Maybe. But there you go. So it's kind of weird that they are adding Virtual Boy as a Nintendo Classic. So with that said also, something about the Virtual Boy super rumor. So I did kind of mention this before in the past. I read in the internet. And like I said before, this rumor's probably dead. But it was a very far-fetched rumor that's up-the-ass rumor that technically is 1,000% false about it. But there were rumors about this one. So I'm going to reiterate in this video, and that is the reason why the Virtual Boy first was rushed. And people didn't know the Virtual Boy was rushed because they wanted to release it before the N64. Virtual Boy was released in 1995. The N64 was 1996. With that said, there was also a rumor that the Virtual Boy was going to be colored or white, or I don't know, it's not going to be red. Again, they just needed more time. Another rumor was that, and again, up the ass rumor, that the Virtual Boy was going to be integrated with the N64. Super rumor, because nothing really happened. There's no patent, there's no blueprint, there was nothing. There were just people in the shadow that talk about this rumor that confirmed, probably dead, 1,000% dead, that the Virtual Boy was going to be integrated with the N64. Imagine playing Mario 64 with the Virtual Boy goggles, move around by your face, controlling Mario, something like that. Heck, Ocarina of Time to some extent, some of those games. That was a rumor that they're going to do. I mean, right now, if you play any virtual game, you kind of see what it is. I mean, heck, even Nintendo to some extent, I mean, play The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey in VR mode. It kind of, you know, there's a VR feature to some extent, but they don't really dive into it because, again, not a lot of people like VR. I mean, case in point, PlayStation 2 VR. Guess what? Shuda Yoshida said, let's move on because it was stupid. Could have been good if it was backwards compatible, but they didn't because it was done for Sony. But anyway, back to this far-fetched up-the-ass rumor. There was supposed to be some integration, but it never happened. And they said, I'll just release a console, that's it. Then the N64, and there you go. So, is the Virtual Boy very significant to Nintendo's history? To some extent, yes. Is it very impactful? Definitely not in a way of positive, but something that a lot of times, if it's so nonsensical, best not to do it to some extent because this is what happens there. Alright, so there you go. Backstory, hints, rumors, fun facts, I guess. I don't know what I'd call it. Like I said, I'm still kerbubble with the Virtual Boy Nintendo Classic. I mean, really? That they're actually going to do it in February of 2026. So, like I said, that's just a rumor. The N64 Virtual Boy integration. Nothing really happened from that, but it was just sort of a far-fetched, up-the-ass rumor, like I said. So, there you go, fun facts about the Virtual Boy. So, are you guys gonna try it out? If you have the expansion pack, are you willing to pay at least $25 to see it? I mean, if you have VR Labo goggles and the original OG Switch 1, maybe. I still have mine, so if I still have an expansion pack by 2026, then maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, with that, I'll see you guys later.
His system had bombed.
In corporate Japan, there's something called a window seat. And a window seat basically is you screwed up, you did something wrong, and instead of firing you or reprimanding you every day or giving you another chance, they basically let you sit by the window and occupy you with something.